Monday, 28th of June, 1965, Greet. Endless drive from City Hill to this filthy monastery at Toploo. This awful old monk with lice crawling on him. Really disgraceful. Saturday, the 11th of September, 1965. Went up to Highgate after lunch to call on Moira. We walked in the woods and several squirrels came right up to us. When I put out my hand to one of them, he bit my finger, quite gently, as though to test if I were food. Monday, the 7th of February, 1966. Clickety-click. The shot was me, backing away from the reincarnated pharaoh, and falling into a great trough of dough, struggling out again and then falling into the vat with the monster. It wasn't pleasant. The dough stuck in the hair everywhere, and it was the devil's own job to remove it. Still, luckily, with these kinds of scenes, the clothes are so ruined that they can't go again. Friday, the 30th of September, 1966. Really dreadful day. At lunchtime I was launching into a dirty song at the restaurant, and Joan Sim said, "Give it a rest, Ducky. We've all had enough for one day." And I was furious. I said, "You stupid old cow! If you don't like the conversation on this table, why don't you go to another table?" And I spent the rest of the day sulking her. Monday, the 31st of October, 1966. Pinewood. Didn't work till about 12. They gave us a party at 5:20 for the end of the picture. It wasn't much like a party, lots of moaning from everyone about their meanness. One of the waitresses told me that Charles Hawtrey asked her for a carrier bag full of the leftover snacks from the buffet to take home with him. The sadness of it all. Sunday, the 20th of November, 1966. And viewers, please be aware that this scene may make you wince. Tried to learn some lines, but my heart's not really in it. The utter limbo of my Sundays. Even masturbation denied me today, because I caught my cock in the zip fastener, and it was quite painful. Monday, the 21st of November, 1966. My dick still sore from the zip fastener mishap. Thursday, the 27th of April, 1967. Filming for Don't Lose Your Head. The fight sequence went on too long, and Sid James really does look terribly battered and old. Very unattractive when he's making love to all those girls in it. All rather disgusting. Tuesday, the 15th of August, 1967. Telegram from Peter Rogers saying Frankie Howerd out for Carry On Doctor, and offering me the part. Now, I think that's funny because eventually he does do the part, and in fact, he is one of the main characters from that film. Tuesday, the 28th of September, 1967. Pinewood at 8, lunch with Frankie Howerd. He is undoubtedly a very boring man, loves talking, but there is no really cultivated mind. He continues as, etc. Lady Bagley, would it be unwise for... Oh no, I couldn't. It's unthinkable. Sunday, the 24th of March, 1968. I had the bowel motion and went to tip my fag ash down the loo and burnt my cock. Wednesday, the 22nd of May, 1968. The barman said Charles Hawtrey consumed 2.5 bottles of port, a whiskey and a pot of tea last night. Last night I heard him shouting and brawling on the stairs well past midnight, so I'm prepared to believe it. It's not the eccentricity or the grotesquerie or the homosexuality that puts me off Charles. It's the it's the boredom, basically. 14th of June, 1968, halfway down the page. Their two guests, Dieter and Wolfgang, were there, and I asked Dieter to show me the gardens. He took me to the roof and kissed me passionately, the tongue exploring the mouth, and said, "When I come to London, I shall come to see you only, no one else." He is certainly the most handsome German I've ever met, but I quickly came down from the roof and re-entered the drawing room saying, What a lovely garden! Monday the 23rd of June, 1969. Another lousy night. Nothing helped by the news this morning of the death of Judy Garland, that talented and brilliant shooting star who was so full of anguish and despair underneath all the showbiz flam. Monday, 18th of August 1969. In the post office at about 10:45, a woman said, "I have seen you on television and I didn't think you were that good." I replied, "When I ask about your profession, you can talk to me about mine. Until then, be quiet," and walked out. Thursday, the 21st of August 1969. Dinner with Chris and George at Cloudridge, where the waiter squeezed my cock as he laid the tablecloth and said it was lovely to see me. Friday, the 21st of April 1972. This one is all about Karen abroad. Coached to Slough High Street to continue the exterior stuff. In the coach, Kenny Connor came aboard with his wife, played by June Whitfield, and asked Sid James, "You wouldn't happen to have some bromide, would you? You see, the jogging of the coach excites my wife." And Sid and Joni started laughing, and that set the tone for the day. Kenny is one of the most mirthful people and one of the most authentic ad-libbed men that I know. Talked with Bernard Bresslaw, who was fascinating on the subject of Judaism and the problem of the progressive, very orthodox is Israel. Bernard is an enchanting and lovable person. I always enjoy his company. Friday, the 22nd of December, 1972. I found a letter and presents from Louie on my desk. She says, "Perhaps next year I won't go away and we can have dinner together." And of course I started weeping. I replied to her and put it in her letterbox. Thursday, the 4th of January, 1973. At Great Portland Street, 3 boys were fighting, and I said, "You can stop that immediately. How dreadful to attack each other in a world that's as miserable as this. How old are you?" And the eldest boy, looking at the ground, said, 15, mister." And I said, "Oh, that makes it even worse." And a smaller boy cried out, "We were only playing, mister." And I said, "Oh, well, that's all right then. Here is 50p to share amongst yourselves, and never hit each other again." And I departed grandly. From now on, the quotations get more and more apart. So perhaps there'll be one in 1974, and then there'll be another one in 1980. Before reading this book, I was convinced that Kenneth Williams was gay. But you read the book, and you discover he probably wasn't. And up to a certain point in the book, I was convinced he wasn't gay because, he never really showed that, I didn't think that. But then, I read something which convinced me he is gay. Monday the 7th of February 1983. The 2 Keep Fit boys, Graham and John, contrived a conversation with me. It was all, "You are so clever," and "I wish I had your confidence." And John became quite effulsive towards me. When I visited the loo, I said, "I'm in room 538. What time can you come up?" And he said, "About 11:15. I returned to the group and chatted till then, flew back to the room and turned the lights low and got into my pyjamas. Then the waiting started. I tiptoed to the door several times. Nothing. Decided to go to bed. In the middle of chewing the Gaviscon at 11:50, there came a knock on the door. I rushed to open it and pulled a reluctant J into the room. Should have known then that it was all death. Lying fully clothed on the bed, he said, "I have misled you. I am really only 10% gay. I can't do anything. It would be different if Graham was here. I am so sorry. I led you astray." Within 2 minutes I'd shown him out again. I suppose it's the story of my life. And that is pretty concrete evidence that he is gay. Friday, the 1st of November, 1985. Went to bed full of recrimination. Oh, the fact is, on these chat shows, that I've been eating at myself for years, just living off the body fat. And people say all he does now is go on and tell those old stories we've all heard before, with his usual lavatory gags and his camp bleather. Monday, the 5th of October, 1987. Counted my capsules of poison, and I have over 30, so there should be enough to kill me. Just have to work out the time and the place. Friday, the 16th of October, 1987. I was in my pyjamas when the receptionist knocked on the door and handed me a glass of champagne. I said, "Thank you so much," and then tipped it down the sink. Had a meal with Lou at 5:30. Saw the news. Watched the dreary saga of murder and mayhem. By 6:30, pain in the back was pulsating as it's never done before. So this, plus the stomach trouble, combines to torture me. Oh, what's the bloody point? The diary ends. A sheet of blotting paper remains inserted at this page. And that, my dear friends, is the diary of Kenneth Williams. It's taken me a whole year to read, and it's made me understand him better. So the next book I'm going to read is Stephen King's Misery, or it might be The Body by Stephen King. Thank you for watching and staying alive with us for perhaps 15 minutes or more, and watching both parts if there are 2 parts. Thank you very much. Good night.